Buffalo Wild Wings has deals on deals on deals. Like buy one, get one half off Wing Tuesdays, buy one, get one free boneless Thursdays, and $3 Tall House beers every day. With all these deals, it's a win-win. Only at Buffalo Wild Wings.
New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new Connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at CuriosityStream.com.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers? I'm Gigi. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. Your girl got Stevie Nicks tickets. If you on YouTube, you can see there's two, Roger Waters and then Stevie Nicks in October. I'm so excited. It's an early birthday gift for my daughter who is on the edge of 17, and she'll be 17 August 3rd. And also, I kind of was like, I should take the young one who's 11. Sarah Rose and I rock out to Stevie Nicks all the time in the car. So I'm taking my girls. Cannot wait. So happy. I'm a little late tonight. I have a house full of teenagers. My daughter brought like every friend she has over, and but they're cool. They're chilling in the living room, but that's why I'm a little bit late. We are going to jump right back in. So remember when we stopped, Charles had found the document about the translated beings and sent that to Adam. And so we're on June the 26th of 2019. So it's getting close to the point to where Charles was murdered. And it gets a little bit back and forth here. What a lot of what happens for the next few days that we're going to cover are text messages. And so I have texts between Charles and Adam. I have texts between Lori and Zulema, and then a couple with Zulema and Chad. It's all really relevant to the story. So I did pull those, and we talked about, I may have to pull some of these just because it explains a lot more about what was happening around that time. So on this day, June 26th, first off, Lori and Zulema are texting about Serena, and Zulema wonders about these experiences Serena is having and says she thought Serena finished her physicals. I'm not sure what that means. She asks Lori if Serena is moving forward again or still at the same place. So Lori says she has her at 33% physical, and she doesn't think that possibly could have happened. So she asks Zulema what they should do to help. And Zulema's like, I don't know. And she also wonders if Zulema has been deceived, or if Serena has been deceived. You kind of start to see this little bit of a turn on Serena. And Zulema says that she has mentioned to Serena about being humble. And Serena told Zulema she's being humble. But Lori says Serena hasn't moved in weeks, and she's praying how to handle it. She also says it's been a crazy week, but she will try to concentrate on that today. And Zulema says, I see some tendencies of acting like those self-righteous people in the church. I also see how people in the church try to show off their kids to boost their righteousness. She said that she read the Book of Mormon very fast, and there's extra blessings from that. So Zulema says, I'm wondering if she's being deceived because it sounds like she's caught up in the cultural part of the church. And Lori says she agrees. It's like she wants the fast track to heaven. We both know that it is through long suffering that the Lord works. It's his timing, and we have to accept his will. So Zulema says, so they're using that to get in and deceive her. Kind of like when I was mad at Kara and they were able to come in and attack me. They will use any weakness or tear in our spiritual or energy fields. They're giving her some very real visions, dreams, and experiences. And Lori says, or she's making them up. I'm not sure. It's hard to discern because it's really convincing when you talk to her. Zulema says, do you think there is a way to change Iplos to the light? I had a dream of a very dark entity changed to the light. So then Zulema says, I was just shown how to use wind and create whirlwinds at the temple. So we're going to jump over to Charles texting Adam. This thread starts at 5:35 p.m. and Charles asks Adam, can you chat? And Adam says yes. So then obviously they have a phone conversation because we jumped to June 27th. And he says to Adam, you might want to send this to Summer, Mimi, and anyone else you can think of. It says trace into other dimensions is what Lori talked about extensively in the part about being a translated being. And so there wasn't another text there. And then June 28th, did you speak to Brandon yet? I wonder how many other marriages she's destroying besides ours and Brandon based on the lies. FYI, Lori convinced Mel that Brandon worked with me in getting Lori in trouble with the stake president. I never even spoke to him. And so Adam responds that Brandon told him that. Mel, we're talking about Melanice. Charles says, so sad, so sad. Lori has to be stopped before her discernment powers destroy any other marriages. I think I have enough points in Southwest for you to fly round trip to Phoenix if and when you feel the need to go. And Adam said, I told my mom I want to have a family meeting, have Lori explain all the things she has said she needs to be accountable. And Charles says, I will not be there. This is on her. I tried getting her help and the entire family, except for you, put a scarlet letter on my forehead. The truth is, I put her back in Arizona so she could do her evil somewhere else. The only thing she's doing right is with JJ. He doesn't understand why his mommy left him for 72 days, but she did. And she blames it all on me. Good luck, Adam, and my prayers are with all of you. I don't think it'll work because she knows she's special. And he puts that in parentheses. And Charles also says, I would get a name that's redacted and Gabe there. She's on a very dangerous path and thinks she's not. She truly thinks she's on a special mission on her 5th probation from Heavenly Father himself. Let me know if you want to use the points. And Adam says, okay, probably July the 11th, which, as we know, is the day Charles was murdered. Charles says, let me know exact dates return also, and I'll get it done. And Adam says, okay, thanks, Charles. And Charles says, just so Mimi and Pop know, I'm the only one that loves her enough to try to get her help. And look what happened to me and us. I still do, Adam. I love all of them. And this has crushed me, absolutely devastated me. I've done nothing wrong. And I'm getting stepped on every day by the rest of the family. And that has to be hard because we know Charles did so much for this family. He had 22 lines on his Verizon bill. His Verizon bill was like over $1,000 a month. But Zach, who was it? Somebody said that, oh no, it was actually one of Charles's sons after he was murdered, pointed out something very odd, which is there are a lot of pictures of Lori's family at Charles's house, but Charles wasn't in any of the pictures. And it just goes to show that apparently they were just takers. So if any of the following people know the reason for the family meeting, they simply will not show up. And he names Lori, Mimi, Colby, Melanice, Summer, or Tylee. I promise they won't. Lori will run and Summer too. She and Mimi just can't help it. Charles says Lori accuses me of taking JJ when all this started by her blowing up our lives because the spirit showed her exactly what to do. I sent this text to her Friday morning, February 1st at 7:58 a.m., 2 days after it all happened on January 30th, Wednesday. She will not answer me as to why she never agreed to get our boy after school. I guess it didn't fit her narrative. So prior text from Charles to Lori, he forwards that to Adam and it says, I will take JJ to school today. If you want to pick him up, please let me know. Otherwise, he can stay with me. If he goes with you, I'd still like to take him to our Saturday errands. The fewer changes he sees, the better. If you need anything at the house, I will also leave so you can come by. Just let me know. Otherwise, it's locked. And he said that Lori refused to read that And it's this, and he must have sent something else. It says, it's the story of why our church rejected multiple probations. It's very enlightening. And Charles says, just so you have all the facts, I've personally seen Lori give 3 or 4 blessings to Tylee for healing. I told her she can't do that because she doesn't hold the Melchizedek priesthood. And her reply is a question mark. And it says, I've been given the healing power from Jesus himself. So my blessings are of a greater power than Melchizedek blessings. I'm pretty sure Zach has seen it too. So he's saying that that response was from Lori saying that she had been given these powers. I'm pretty sure Zach has seen it too, was from Charles. So on June 28th, Lori drafts the email to Chad pretending to be Charles, asking him to come to Arizona. And here's how it goes. Hello, Chad. I hope you're doing well. This is Charles Vallow from Arizona. We really enjoyed having you stay with us back in November when you came to the Preparing a People conference. I appreciated you taking time to talk to me about the book I've been working on. Well, more than 6 months later, I still haven't made much progress on it, but I feel an urgency to get it done. As the managing partner of Right Planning Group, I'm going to have the opportunity to speak at various conventions beginning in the fall, but everyone says I need to have a book available that summarizes my life and shares the principles I follow. So I will cut to the chase. I'm willing to pay you well to help me get this book into shape as my ghostwriter. I really liked your autobiography and the tone you took in sharing experiences without preaching. Is there any way you could come here for a couple of days and help me get the book underway? I feel talking in person would be much more valuable than a phone call or video chat, mainly because I would like you to read through some of my journals and explain to me how the publishing industry works. It would help me know whether I truly have a book in me and whether you want to team up on it. I played minor league baseball and have plenty of stories that my audience could relate to, along with the knowledge I've gained running my own company. So I do feel the book would contain valuable information even beyond the convention circuit. I'm out of town until Saturday, but I would gladly fly you down here early next week before the holiday and cover your expenses. You could stay in our guest room like before, or in a hotel if you prefer. I hate to take you away from your family, but I know this book is vital to my speaking success. I understand if you don't want to take part in the project, but I would definitely make it worth your time. With admiration, Charles. I can't even, y'all. That is just next level crazy stuff. So June 28th, Charles and Lori are texting. Lori's texting Charles early at 6:38 a.m. And this is kind of weird to me. I don't know if you guys know what this means. Please comment. I looked, couldn't find it. It says, well, JJ and I both start our new jobs next week. So maybe we can start paying you too, and you can retire, with a smiley face. And it says, what the heck? Charles texts Lori back, the Lori I used to know, absolutely. Not this crazy person you are now. You will reap what you've sown. I will have nothing to do with it. You've created this crap. Now you'll pay the price. So Lori texts back, please call me. Need to speak with you about the lease. Charles says, no thanks. You handle it. If it costs money, just text me. And I mean, you look at that. He doesn't want to deal with her. But hey, if you need money for your lease, call me. Lori says to Charles, if this is even you, question mark, question mark. Does someone have your phone? These texts don't sound anything like you. And Charles says, sure, Lori, it's Ned or Garrett. Take your pick. You've gone a bridge too far. Your favorite movie line is very fitting. You are a murderer of love. So Lori says, still not proof. Please call me. Charles says, I will not call you. You are too dangerous. Your mission has become clear to me. You are the destroyer of families. And yes, she was and is. So Lori says, good luck with that, whoever you are. And Charles says, all based on lies. First hours, now Brandon and Melanie's. Don't forget, you just screwed up. It's redacted and redacted well. Whose life are you trying to destroy next? And Lori says, wow, you make me out to be pretty powerful to do all that. What exactly would my motivation be? More babysitting time? Charles says, you will be stopped, not by me, but you will be stopped. So that's all between the two of them for that day. But wow, you make me out to be pretty powerful to do all that. I thought she was exalted and had all these powers. And I mean, she's told Charles this. So why is she now saying that she doesn't have this power to do all this stuff? But later that evening, about 8:15, Zulema asked Lori if she's busy tomorrow and also asked, do you know the name? And it's Seriana. So it's Seirina, a spiritual guide for my medium friend. The name sounds interesting. And there's no response from Lori. So the texting between Charles and Lori continues into the next day on June 29th. And this is when we really kind of start getting the motive, I think, for the murder. I think this absolutely kicked things into high gear. And this day, unfortunately, led to his murder on July the 11th. So Charles learns about this letter to Chad. And he found the email Lori sent and we just read it. Remember, she is acting as if she's Charles, asking him to come to Arizona. So on June 28th, Adam sent Charles a text message stating that he told his mother that they needed to have the family meeting and hold her accountable and all that. So Charles sends Adam the following email. He says, Adam, open this letter and see what she did. I'm not sure if the relationship with her and Chad Daybell, but they are up to something. She created an email alias for me as I've never set this one up. She sent it yesterday, and I guess she forgot all her emails are on the computer at my house. I asked her to explain it, and she started blaming you, Brandon, and me for a scheme against her. Just more of her paranoia. She will not explain it. I am going to send it to Chad Daybell's wife. Her name is Tammy, and I found her email address on their website. I've got her cell number too. Sounds very suspicious to me. What do you think? Whenever she gets caught doing this kind of stuff, she starts blaming everybody else. Mostly me, you, and Brandon. Brandon and I are the victims of her craziness. I wish you luck trying to help her. I was the only one brave enough to try to get her help in January, and look what happened to me. The whole family put a scarlet letter on me. Maybe now they can see what they're up against. Charles says, thanks. So real quick, we are going to talk about our paid sponsor for the week, BetterHelp. That's HELP, help. Our brain controls every single thing we do. It works quietly in the background doing things that keep us alive, such as telling us to breathe, our heart to beat, and it helps us in dangerous situations when fight or flight kicks in. And it also can give us cold chills when we hear a song that brings back sweet memories. And when you really think about it, the brain is so mysterious and marvelous. It's every part of us. But our brain can also be very detrimental to our daily lives if we're facing issues that are painful and difficult to navigate alone. It may be a bunch of small issues that pile up and become overwhelming, or one big traumatic event that happened. Not facing issues in a healthy way can make the rest of our body unhealthy and the days long and really miserable. And we know some people are afraid to seek help due to the stigma of counseling, or maybe they lack the energy to even get dressed and go out to see a counselor. That's why BetterHelp is amazing for so many reasons. You can be matched with your therapist in as little as 48 hours, and you can chat without video, so you can stay home where you're very comfortable. And there's just so many options with BetterHelp, and there's a scenario for everybody. So you can get the help you need in a discreet way with results that could change your life. So our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/whattheworld. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whattheworld. Check them out. We all need a little help sometimes. All right, back to it. So we are going to jump to June 29th. Charles and Lori text. And I really do think that the 28th and the 29th is what became the motive to murder him. And so investigators actually say in the report, the discovery of that letter set everything into motion. So at 5:47 a.m., why would you send a letter with my name on it to Chad, to your Chad? He is not staying at my house. I will be there to make damn sure he doesn't. You have literally lost your mind. You will be stopped. And then he says, I'll pick JJ up on Tuesday after school. I'll bring him back Friday. And why are you creating an email address under my name? You're unbelievable. Is he with whom you're having an affair? He did not stay with us in Arizona in November. He did. Who are you lying to now? Trying to destroy another family? You're evil, period. I may take JJ back to Houston unless you have a great explanation for all this. I will not let him be a party to your apostasy. So Charles then texts Adam. At this point, I didn't see any response from Lori to any of those texts. And so this was actually 5:57 a.m. This is after he's texted Lori all this. Adam, what's your email address? Lori sent an email from me with my name on it. I knew nothing about it. You got to see this. Adam responds and says, okay, and gives his email address.
New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
So Charles texts Lori at 6:04 in the morning. Just so you know, I have Tammy's email address. I will send a copy of my email you sent to Tammy. And he put mine in parentheses. Tammy will know what you're up to. You better explain. And then Charles says, I now have Tammy Daybell's cell number. I'll text her a copy of the letter and an explanation of what you're up to. You have till noon your time to explain, or I'm sending via text and emailing her. He says, at least now I know where all the cash went. You are unbelievable. How you or anyone you know going to, I'm willing to pay you well to help me get this book in shape as my ghostwriter. Or I might just go up to Idaho like you did in March and visit Tammy at her school. I'm sure she'd love to know the whole story of what you and her husband have been up to. Librarians aren't usually that busy. You need to explain why you're writing emails in my name. I'm sure you're up by now. You have until 10 a.m. your time to respond, or I send the emails and text to Tammy. So Lori at 7:09, call me. So now she realizes this is happening. So at 7:30, I don't know if he calls her because there's a gap here. 7:09 is when she says, call me. The next message is from Lori to Charles at 7:32 a.m. Can you please send the charger to JJ's police car? He wants to drive it. Charles says, sure. Right after I send the email and text to Tammy, I'll get right on that. I'll bring it with me since the mail won't be there before me. I'll be there Monday evening. And Charles says, heck, you said, funny. All your emails are still on your computer that's here in the kitchen. And you know, I love to think maybe at this point there is some panic in Lori that maybe, holy moly, this is, they're going to tell Tammy, this is going to ruin a lot of plans. I really do hope she was squirming that day. I mean, Charles deserved to put her in that position. He had that right. So Lori says, you just sent an email saying you were me, apparently. So yes, hack. Charles says, I sent it from your computer. Of course, it's going to say it's you. Be smart, Lori. You're not thinking. You have until 10, as I said, to explain, or I send a note to Tammy Daybell. Lori says, good for you. Bravo. And Charles says, please don't use my name anymore to send emails. And Lori says, ditto. Charles says, you're not very smart. I'll send them to Tammy now if you're not going to tell me why you sent an email using my name. And Lori said, are you saying you did not send this signing my name today? Charles says, I kept a copy. You don't need to send me one. And Charles says, yes, I sent it from your computer so the person knows what you're doing. It's not a hack. What you did is fraud. Lori said, I'm sure your companies will like to know how you sign all of your clients' names too, just like you did mine. And then Lori says, this whole thing is fraud and it's all done by you. It's how you roll. And you see there, Lori's trying to come back and threaten Charles with something, just, you know, a tit for tat thing. And Charles says, go right ahead. I simply asked you to help me by sending these to my clients. And Lori says, I know your heart and soon everyone else will too. So Charles says, if you don't stop, you might as well move back in with Alex. I'll call Joe shortly and tell him what a mistake we made. I'm trying to be nice and send you emails supposedly written by me to carry on your affair. Or I'm trying to be nice and you send emails supposedly written by me to carry on your affair. You will be stopped. You need some serious help. Lori says, do what you want. You are a big fake. It's just projection. Every single message back is projection. It's everything she is that she's, and this has been going on, the affair she's accusing him of. She's doing it. She's a fake. And Lori says, you. Charles says, I love you too. I love that. Just throwing in a little smarty thing. Charles says, JJ will come back with me. And Lori says, great. You are all big frauds. This is just the icing on the cake. And Charles says, it'll be tough at first since you already abandoned him. He'll get used to it. When I get married again, he'll love his new mommy who doesn't belong in the nut house. And I just want to say, bravo, Charles. Man, I love it. I love it. And he's right. And unfortunately, none of that got to happen, but he called a spade. Good for him. So Lori says, sure, disrupt his life again when he just got settled. I'm sure you really care about him. And Charles says, someone has to protect him from his crazy mommy. Charles just knew, guys. I mean, this is so soon before his murder, and he just knew. And this is so painful to go through. Charles says, I'm just worried you'll run off and disappear again with him. I wouldn't put it past you and your nut house friends. He was right there too. Lori says, worry away. So Charles says, our biggest problem in the past has been making rushed decisions. I told you I wouldn't use the fact that I'm paying for your living in Arizona over your head. I will not do that because it's best for JJ. Stay where you are and everything will remain as it is. I'm not going to change passwords or cancel any credit cards as long as you're responsible. There is no money for Colby and Tylee. They need to pay their own way. And if either I can't afford it, then the cars will go. That's part of your monthly $4,000 spending money. Colby owes you $1,250 and Tylee owes you $250. Please don't charge anything more on the credit cards without letting me know first. I will do the same. I'm very upset with you for destroying Brandon and Melanie's life along with those adorable kids. Ours too. All based on lies that you think is the power of the discernment. It looks like you're doing it with Chad, and I'll do what I can to shine some light on your affair. I will find out why you send an email from me to thee and then it cuts off. Something is going on with you and Chad. I will find out, and so will Tammy. I meant it when I said you will be stopped. You cannot continue to destroy lives and think you're doing the Lord's work. You are ill, Lori, and I'm the only one brave enough and loved you enough to try to get you help. You destroyed our life, and I feel so sorry for you. Your mind is twisted, as I know you still believe all those things about yourself. I will be there Monday evening, and I will stay at the house with him. You should probably leave. Tylee, too. I don't care if you stay, but just stay out of my way. Charles then, there's no response from Lori, so Charles texts again, explain the letter you sent, or I will send it to Tammy Daybell. You have 1 hour and 15 minutes. This is at 8:44 a.m. So at 9:02, Adam texts Charles, I just read it. What the heck? That makes no sense. Remember, he sent that letter where Lori pretends to be Charles. Adam says, why would she say she was you and you wanted to write a book about playing minor league baseball? I've never heard you say you were going to write a book. Is that just code? So his wife thinks it's you instead of her. Did he stay at your house? And Charles says, unless she's having an affair with him, she sends an email using my name so it looks like he can go to Arizona and his wife won't think it's suspicious. It's the only thing that makes sense. She's super defensive when it's brought up, and I don't put anything past her. On another subject, we keep about $10,000 in cash as part of our food storage. A few weeks ago, I checked it, which I do periodically. There was only $2,900 left. She and I are the only ones who know where it is. She took it and blames me. It's pretty funny. A lot of things are starting to make sense. She accused me and Brandon of hacking her email. Funny, it's on her freaking computer at my house. It's right there for anyone to see. And no, he did not stay at our house. A bunch of really weird ladies did. Yeah. I sent you the emails she sent him in January regarding family history. Included were 3 emails with her dancing videos attached. I've never met the guy. And Adam says, I'm going to have to write another book. This is stranger than fiction. So Charles says, amen. She has to have some help, as I know she doesn't know how to do a fictional email alias. I'm not sure what she's up to, but I hope it's not going to destroy more people's lives. All in the name of our Savior. What a joke. So Charles texts Lori, I imagine the stake president would be real interested as to why you're sending an email with my name on it that I didn't write. I wonder. I just emailed and texted Tammy. Let's shine some light on this issue and see what we all see. Then Adam responds, it's so ridiculous. I can't believe people are buying into this crap. So Charles says 5 to 10,000 are. They think the rest of the church is wrong. Only they that are chosen are woke enough to see the real truth. Lori is one of them, and it's so sad. And Adam just says, wow. Charles says, exactly. I think Lori is a lost cause. She's going to think anyone who challenges her is the devil. It's so sad. She's literally practicing apostasy. Did I say that right? It's late, but I'm glad you will try. At least I'll let the rest of the family know what she's been doing, and I didn't betray her or have any affairs. And Adam says, I know that. Charles says, now at least Zach and Brandon know. And Adam says, yeah, I'm glad. So the next day, or I'm sorry, the same day, 9:16 in the morning, Charles does email Tammy. It says, Tammy, my name is Charles Vallow. I have some vital and disturbing information regarding your husband and my wife, Lori. This is your work email, so I'll wait to send you the evidence that is very disturbing. You may call or email me from the address where you can receive the information. I apologize for being the one sending this, but something has to be done. I feel it's best if I shed some light on the issue. Regards, Charles Vallow. There's something redacted there. I think it's probably a phone number. So then at 9:32, Charles sends an email to Chatty Boy. The subject was emails from Lori Vallow. It reads, Chad, I'm Lori's husband, but I gathered you already knew this. She sent an email yesterday, supposedly written by me to KK Walker, inviting you to Arizona next week and to ghostwrite a book I'm supposedly working on. Is preposterous. I happened to run across it as she left her computer at our Houston home. I'm not paying anybody for anything. I'm not writing a book. Either you or Lori need to tell me what's going on, or this will be exposed for all to see. Regards, Charles Vallow. There was a second portion of the email that read, and does your wife know you have several of Lori's dance videos? Explain how that is in any way appropriate. She sent them to you at your request in January. Charles. So at 9:36, he emails Chad again. And does your wife know you have several of Lori's dance videos? Explain how that is in any way appropriate. I think we just said that. Yeah, we did. Sorry, y'all. I just repeated myself. But it's good twice because Charles was like, got you. Know what's up. So Charles texts Lori. So now I see it. It's your cutout to get your singing and other stuff to Chad Daybell. Interesting. I wonder what his wife will think. I'd like to speak to you about next week in JJ, nothing else. When is a good time? And Lori says, just text me when you want to get him and bring him back. It's fine. And Charles says, excuse me, but I'm staying there. I figured you'll be busy running around with your boyfriend writing your book. You can stay with him. Charles says, interesting that you went on Allegiant to Idaho Falls on Sunday, March 3rd and came back on Tuesday, March 5th. I guess that was to see your boyfriend. Wow, you're amazing. You accuse me of what you are doing. Are you even going to deny it? And then some time passes, about 8 minutes between texts. She doesn't respond. And Charles says, that's what I thought. You are the destroyer. You blame others for what you are doing yourself. Too many people know what you're up to. You will be stopped. I won't be anywhere near there when it happens. It's disgusting what you're doing. You need to repent and you might escape with your soul intact. Maybe, just maybe. So then it goes on. I'm astonished at what you've become. You destroyed our life based on a lie. You are trying to destroy Brandon's life based on a lie. And now you're carrying on with Chad Daybell all behind his wife's back. All the while, you're an apostasy to our faith. The fact that you believe all these things about yourself that you told me in January is bad enough. You still cash to fund whatever it is you're doing and fly around cheating on me and our faith while going to the temple regularly. You obviously think all these things about yourself make you, and he puts in quotes, special. You are an incredible hypocrite. You make up a story about some girl I've never heard of calling you saying I cheated on you only to distract from your evil ways. You will be stopped. This much I know. I'll be there to take care of JJ. This will not end well for you, and I will be as far away as I can until I come get JJ. Just so you know, Chad knows I am going to talk to Tammy in person if I have to. I've already emailed and texted her. Your game is up. Why, Lori? Why have you done this to our family? I'll never understand. So Lori finally responds, when you are done ranting and raving, I'll be happy to talk rationally to you about what's best for JJ and our divorce. That's really all I have to say. Charles says, I'm quite rational. Are you actually going to go to court? And Lori says, no, but you clearly don't want to be married to me. So let's just do it the easiest way possible for JJ. We both love him. Clearly you don't want to be married to me. Woo. I mean, it's just clearly she doesn't want to be married to him. He's tried everything. Charles says, call me and we can discuss. And he says, sorry if the truth hurts, but what you're doing is apostasy. I thought we were going to talk about the divorce. You keep hanging up and I'll be tougher and it'll be tougher on our boy. Lori says, define the word apostasy for me. Charles says, if I have to define it for you, then you obviously don't know what it is. If you hadn't lied to the president, you wouldn't have gotten your tipple recommended back. That's apostasy. So she lost her temple recommend. That's actually 2 years in this case. I did not know that. So Lori says, I will talk to you if we can talk without you calling me names. Charles says, I didn't call you names. Call if you want. Lori says, you called me evil. Charles says, no worries. Please don't make up any more email addresses using my name. It's really creepy. And Lori says, ditto. So Charles says, we're going to finish up soon on this day, and then we'll catch back up tomorrow. It's a lot of texting, but it really is important to show what led up to July the 11th when Charles is murdered. This is why, right here. So Charles says, ditto, I've never made an email alias under your name and sent it to a cutout to further cheating on my spouse. Your email to Chad Daybell is exactly that. How else would you explain it? That's right. You can't. You're actually inviting and paying him substantial money to come to Arizona. That's what your letter that you wrote fraudulently in my name said. All your deeds are coming under the light. And please let me know what JJ's school schedule is this week. What days is there no school? And Lori says just the 4th. And Nicole wanted to know if he would be there on Friday. They wanted a head count. So I already told her he would be there. So let me know if he won't. Charles says, can you talk for a moment? No accusations or anything like that. I just need to talk to you about a couple of things. That was sent at 4:23. So the next text from Charles to Lori is at 4:56. It says, I imagine Hector, Thor, and Jason, along with everybody else at the next Preparing a People conference, will be intrigued when they read the fictitious email you sent in my name for Chad, just so he can have an excuse for his wife to go see you. And the fact that you went and visited him in early March. I can make sure everyone at the conference knows you and Chad have been going at it. I have the email of your dance videos and your song you sent to him as well. It's going to be so much fun. Your game is up. You've lied one too many times. You've destroyed enough lives. The whole world will know about you and Chad. I'll even send all the emails from January. I'll also include his bishop and his stake president. You've gone too far. Now you pay the price for all your lies. See you next week, babe. Have a great weekend. And Charles says, you can apologize to me for all your lies. If you do finally tell the truth, I may only go to Chad's wife since I've already emailed and texted her. It's too late. But I will actually go to the next conference and hand out all your lies on a thumb drive. It's up to you. Otherwise, I'll make sure the whole world knows what you really are. And so Charles, again, texts Lori and your boyfriend, please stop spending money on the credit cards. I appreciate it. So we're going to stop there because then we get into Charles and Adam texting back and forth. But it's, you really see why things started kicking into high gear from here on up until the day of the murder. And that day of the murder is going to take a couple of episodes because there's a lot of inconsistencies. And there's 3 different versions of what happened. So we're going to kind of break down what doesn't make sense between what this person said and what that person said. And we're going to track movements and who texted who and when. So a lot coming up. It's just, you see for months. I mean, here we're into late June, early July. Charles has been going at this since January. I mean, this all came to a head January 30th out of the blue from Lori. And so he's been on this roller coaster for months and months and months. And you still see, even on this day, he is still trying to take care of her as JJ's mother, saying that you have a house, like you can still use the credit cards. Just let me know. And it's just in vain and just sad. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's saying that Charles is a perfect person. Nobody on this earth is perfect, but he really tried everything and we know where we are. But anyways, I think it's all a very important part of the story. It can get a little long at times, but it tells the whole picture. And that's the whole point of this. So I hope you guys have a great evening. I'll be back with you tomorrow. So a longer one, almost 40 minutes. So it's 10:30. I'm going to hang out with these wild kids for a bit and show them what a cool mom is. All right. We will see you guys soon. Hope you have a really, really good evening.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing to keep the Grinch away from the toy drive.
Who's going to deliver the toys to the kids?
What about me, the Grinch?
No.
Yep, even easier than that.
You steal the presents one time.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright Dr. Seuss Enterprises. Copyright Turner Entertainment Company.
Breast milk science. It's a thing. And it's our thing. We're ByHeart. We're an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most super food on the planet. Breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We make our formula in our own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania, using a small batch manufacturing process that works to preserve the integrity of our ingredients. We ran the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in 25 years, and clinically proved benefits like easier digestion, less gas, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. We were the first infant formula company to earn the Clean Label Project Purity Award. And while we've put a lot into ByHeart, there's a long list of things you won't see on our ingredient list, like no corn syrup, no maltodextrin, no GMO ingredients, no soy, no palm oil. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.